Hi, this is Elliot Wave Sage. Let's do a market update. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Okay, so the market's starting to sell off, and this wave two continues. Our last update, we were looking for this wave two pullback. Right now, if we look, I'm just going to kind of show you the count on the Dow Jones. You've got the flash crash two up, and now we're in this kind of wave two price action. And it can come all the way back down to 37,000. It can come down to 37,000, 700 more point. So I wouldn't get too caught up in the sell-off. I think it's really scaring a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of fear out there, but for not a lot of progress, right? The fear isn't matching the price action. But hey, you know what? It's great. Be afraid. Sell, panic sell. CNBC wants you to sell. It's rare to see the CNBC folks come out and tell you to take profit and sell. I think this is an orchestrated sell-off that they want you to sell so that they can buy your bags from you for this push higher later. So don't fall into the trap. But if you didn't manage your money right, if you FOMO'd in at the top, if you trade it with your whole stack buying calls, you're going to get blown up. So you always have to understand how to manage your money when they come in the market and buy. So I don't see any setup here in the Dow Jones, but it's going to probably continue lower. Now the SPY is still here. There's this point now. So if we break this low, the flash crash low, then it's just a flat. So then the target will shift to somewhere around 465, 462. But I wouldn't be surprised to see that back test of 456, 454, something like that, even more severe. The other alternative is it's not it's gonna find buyers on open and reverse out of this, and then it becomes the 1-2-1-2. This is the more bullish count right now. It doesn't seem that that's likely. If I look at this wave structure, that's one wave, that's a connector. So again, there's no setup in the SPY, but there's a couple counts that I'm looking at. The triple Qs, looks like here we are finishing up, and now we're in the wave two. So this one's interesting, right? Because technically you could say, oh, we're done. B is in, crash time, right? And I don't think so. I don't think so. I think this too will find support somewhere, and then we'll come back up to these areas that I have here. And then you could talk about crash time later. So I do think this too will be supported at some point. And again, I look at this, and I don't see a setup. It could be a straight down crash correction, potential setup with this as your shallow connector. So possibly it could dip down to 393, 390. So that's possible. It can come all the way back down there. So just that's probably the only setup, but that's pretty bearish. So I don't really see a setup then in it, but you got to do what's best for you. I do think when I look at this looks like an impulse down in tech. So what I think is going to happen in technology is the A should finish and then get a B and then something like that. That's what I'm thinking we're going to get in tech. IWM, let's take a look at where we are here. So again, could become a 1-2-1-2. Could let's see here. Let's look at the 4-hour. Yeah, I think we're gonna call that like tech and just call an extension in 5 like that, and then something like this. So this is another wave 2 opportunity in the Russell. That could be a connector in an ABC. And that gets it down to 194. So perhaps again, we test in this support area, we test this support area, and it wicks back up. So somewhere in this area could be the opportunity in the Russell. So I just look at the market. It looks to me like the Russell in the technology sector seems to be more bearish than the other sectors. Now, B also could go sideways, but if you look at where we are at 197 in the open, so it looks like this is the chart that's going to play out in the Russell, and then technology, you know, it may decide to do this shallow connector, and yeah, if it does that, I think you really got to put the connector there, to be honest. But we'll have to wait and see what happens today. But that's what we're looking for. And then the SPY, more than likely, if technology is going to take that run down, the SPY is going to come back down in 2. And then this will be a connector in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it will come back down to 465, 462. So, but these setups are too early. It's not clear. I would just there's not really anything to trade. It's just more like watching the indices. That's it. Bitcoin took a dump on this false breakout, and anytime you see that, it's a flat. So we were looking for this area, and it looks like that's where it's going to eventually head. But now that it's a flat, it's a different target that we need to look for. So now we're looking for something a little bit lower at 38,085, something like down here. Yep. So again, this is why you never FOMO into anything, but that's what we're looking for there. Bitcoin. Oil, still looking for this. I mean, you know, something like that. Natural gas is again, the bears are like panicking here. Still looks like 3 up. I'm not gonna label it too many possibilities. Gold, again, it's taking this dump like we expected. It's on its journey to these lower levels. Same thing with silver, on a journey down to lower levels, which is fine. But now this is an important pivot. So if we take this out, then this more than likely is negate it, and we're going to run. So now we know, like, so now you kind of understand how to trade this. But it could chop around, chop people up here. Boyle, talked about Boyle. Boyle's been doing pretty well, good in this correction, and looks like we'll be gapping up tomorrow. Today out at 31, trying to get this push out. Dollar index, you know, mentioned about the B wave. That's what we're getting. You know, more than likely it's gonna not happen all at once. It's gonna probably do something like this, you know, something like that. 10-year, we had this as this wave 2, looking for more upside. The 2-year, you know, it could still continue lower, and I don't see any setup on that. The 1-year, if this is right, this is a support area for the 1-year for a bounce. 30-year still in wave 4. Again, don't see a clear connector. VIX. VIX to me is trying to get out of this consolidation. Perhaps it can do it and get that big sell-off that everyone's predicting. This does look like 5 down here, so it looks like potentially that That may not happen. So you need to be careful with the VIX. It looks like 5 here. I mean, to me, it looks like 5. All right. Technology is really getting hit hard, but then that could create some opportunities. Apple changed the connector. Now it's in a buy area. How's Tesla doing? Remember, I was looking for that dump. We haven't quite hit 242. It could already have truncated. We'll see if it can get down there today, down to this area that I've got. I don't trade. I got to update my Google chart, Facebook. Some of these charts I need to update more. AMD's pulling back. Again, no setups in any of these. Palantir. Hopefully heading to our target at 1189 for great opportunity. Great this is definitely something to keep an eye on. Great opportunity potential right here if we can get that. SYM doing a bigger correction. It is in a buy area. If we break that, the next target is in this area, and then it just extended. Adobe, keeping an eye on that, looking for 557. I don't like NVIDIA at all, especially if it's a 5. Not touching it. IONQ, almost at our target area I gave you. I guess looks like we're open at 1185 within this target zone. So again, I wouldn't trade your whole stack, but you gotta, put some money to work if you want to play this ticker. Here's your connector right here. And there's your wave 4 low. So it makes sense to me, but you got to do what's best for you. Microsoft setup coming at 357. AI's hanging in there. It's a messy structure here, but I think as long as 25 holds, it still should be bullish. Shopify is in area of the buy on a 3-wave drop. If it were to break, let's say 71, then more than likely it will do this, bounce and fail, and then look to buy it again over here. But yeah, a lot of sell-off. A lot of stocks could be showing opportunity. DraftKings did make that push lower in a shallow connector. So I was looking at 1, 2, 3. Here's your shallow connector. So let's get a new target on DraftKings. $31. 31.02. 29. How's Hood doing? Pulling back. GME, how's that going? Looks like it's corrected the bigger 2-wave. So we're coming back like something like that in a bigger 3-wave move. This is actually a nice looking correction back down to 1630 in this area. And then Fubu connector broke it, is going to push lower on this move. Verify the target, 274. So these are the opportunities that are emerging soon. Don't like any of the green stuff until oil is at $40, $50. Won't even look at it. Okay, then healthcare, I think some of that was running yesterday. mRNA, I told you the correction ended. Could be in a new grand super cycle wave 3, and that's what it looks like is starting. So again, if you followed me, you would have, this was not a surprise. Also, my call on Pfizer looks like that went we were at 26 and now we're at 30. So take profit and then let the house's money work for you as a long-term investor. On those symbols, let's see anything else that pops out to me. Nothing. Discretionary, Caravana was asked about that. It does look like we got that false breakout. We're going to come back down. So this is the aggressive buy today in Caravana. This is a gamble, guys. If you want to roll the dice, this is the gamble area, but you got to understand it could still flat on you. It could do a flat and then it's dropping to 17. So you better use a stop loss if you're going to play this one. You have to use a stop loss if you're going to try to take a piece of this here. You have to try, but that's out there. That's out there. Looking at Nike. So if Nike wants to do a straight down crash correction, the target's 93. Just with a really shallow connector. I don't know. I'm not going to buy it here. I wanted to find the ricochet. I want to see a clear connector, but if we don't get that, I'll buy it at 93 against 88. And then the staples, Celsius, looks like to me that this is over and truncated, but you have to respect a double correction given that it did not show that capitulation. So you need to be alert on this one that it could double correct down later. Too bad. I was looking for a good setup. We didn't get it on that. Okay, crypto equivalents. Someone asked me about BTBT. So BTBT, guys, is in a buy area this morning. And like I said, it's very risky play. But here's your three-wave move, right? You're at 1. You have a clear three-wave move down. So you got 740 would be an aggressive stop, but 295 would be not as would be more risky, more open, and that's near where the wave 4 is. So it wouldn't surprise me to see it go deep like that. But it looks very impulsive off the low, and every time we've seen that, there's always one more swing higher. I'm not going to tell you to buy it, but it just seems like a good setup. It seems like a good setup in this area I have in pink. And we should be opening in this buy area this morning. But anyway, you got to do what's best for you. Let's look at some of the others. GPDC is so green. That's weird. All right. ETHE, if it could double correct down, that could be a good opportunity. At 1860, 17. Let's look at some of these others like CLSK. Hit the sell area did work. It just was just kind of broke outside of it, but looking for 966, 786, Coinbase, no setup. Hive, $375, $294, Hut. I really like some of these cryptos because they have nice, clear three-wave connectors with impulses. Hut, 942, 598. LTCN is probably going to get obliterated this morning. I wouldn't even go near it. Mana, Mara. Let's look at Mara. All right, so Mara had a connector and it failed, so this is going to continue lower in a double correction. So that gets you to 18 to 13 down to this area, and then that will morph the wave 4 into a wave 2. So we will have. Let's go ahead and relabel this. I mean, technically it could be this 3, but that's going to be too deep. It will overlap. So we'll label it as another 1, 2. Okay. No clear setup there, but we did finish that 5. Riot. Riot's the same thing like all the others. So you notice I just went through 4 or 5 different crypto stocks. They almost look the same way. So you have to pick like the one or two you want, because you're essentially, whether you pick Riot or Mar, you're trading the same stock. Essentially, I mean, this is the same pattern, BT. So just pick the one, or maybe put your little bit of money in every single one. I mean, this is a, so 1344, 1257. So that is crypto, guys. That is crypto, and that's where we should be going with it. And of course, yeah, this is 5 up. So you could see we're hitting some wave 5s, some wave 2s are in progress. So crypto is ripe for a much bigger correction. So we do need to respect that potentially we did get something like this and the 5th wave is finished. So at 38,000, there's a chance it will bounce, but it could fail. So we need to respect that potentially in crypto, given what we saw in the stocks, that this 5 wave finished here. And now we're in a much bigger multi-month correction, where you'll get something like this. So you have to respect that, correcting the whole move. So just keep that in mind. But when this A finishes around 38,000, you should get a bounce, and you could play that bounce. And perhaps the 4, we're still in 4, right? So anyway, guys, that's all I've got today. Good luck trading out there. I think the market is obviously pulling back in this wave too, but I don't think it's the crash of all ages. Is not time yet, but it will. That time will come this year. I don't think this is the time for that. What would change my mind is if we could break 453 SPY, then all of a sudden I may start changing my tune on the B is set. And we also want to see technology accelerate lower, ideally going back through this downtrend line that I have here. So you really want to see technology back below 360, 359. When the SPY is below 453, Qs are below 360, the B is in, and shit's gonna get crazy out there. And you're like, oh, all the money's made on the short side, Elliott wave stage. I'm gonna no look. You're gonna still have all this to make on the short side, guys. So it's not like you're missing a lot. You're just gonna have a safer up entry with some pivots to trade against to manage your risk. Here, if you're shorting here, you're still just gambling, and you're playing a wave 2 that's gonna end and potentially get a wave 3. So if you are shorting here, you better have a stop at 412, and you better have a stop at 477. You have to. If you don't do that, you're gonna blow up your account on the short side on puts. So you know what you're doing out there. I know everyone's like, oh, the market's gonna crash. It's gonna crash. It's gonna crash. No, now it's gonna crash. And when it comes out of here, you're gonna hear, oh no, I mean it. This time it will crash. No, I'm serious. This is the time. And then eventually they'll get it right, and then you will get the crash. But right now, this is happening, and this is an orchestrated pullback. I think this is again the CNBC crowd trying to get the retail's bags from them, because they missed the move themselves, or they want to buy more for the future pump coming as the Fed lowers rates. And then I think inflation returns. I think inflation returns when gold and silver finally correct. So I do think we got this correction coming, and then at some point here the market will rally and we'll start getting the higher highs, SPY 520, and then I think inflation returns somewhere here in silver at 28, 29, and then all the metrics in inflation shift again, and then the Fed goes, oh my God, what did we do? We're idiots. I'm off the burns all over again, and then they have to go back to a rate hiking campaign, and the market is just going to go crazy panic, and then and everything's just going to dump. And that's what I think is going to happen, guys. That's how I think. That's the most likely scenario for this B wave collapse. And the other scenario, like I said, is Trump controversy around the election that spooks investors, that makes them sell government bonds, driving rates higher that way. And the other, of course, is a black swan, like China takes Taiwan, or some other calamity that no one knows about, that hasn't happened yet. But I think inflation coming back some point in 24 makes a lot of sense to me. And when that happens, I do believe the markets will panic, and the Fed will have to resume a rate hiking campaign again to really nail inflation. And then at some point they do the job. And like I said, you got to be careful. This could be a run-in flat. You may not get down to 320 anymore. It could be a run-in flat. We may only see 388, 400 even. So when this pullback comes, this is it. That's it. That's all you're going to get. So you can't be too picky about your entry, because you still want to get this that I have over here. You see that? Yeah, that's going to happen, guys, because we broke to higher highs. The long-term nature of the market is intact. This shit ain't happening. I don't know. Whoever you're following is saying that's going to happen, ain't going to happen, guys. We broke to new highs. It won't happen. You're either going to get a running flat to 400, 380, or you're going to get, normal flat to 320, and then you're going to get wave 3 of a grand super cycle blow off top for the ages, and then some kind of top-in process, and then a massive crash. Great Depression Part 2. Everyone goes broke. All the gaps fill for March 2020, finally. And then a massive sideways consolidation for probably years and even decades before another lower, and then that's it. And that'll be the end of the stock market bubble as we know it. But I do think this is going to happen. I'm pretty sure now with the higher high sequences we're seeing, and you're seeing risk assets. They have room to run. So I think this is a setup, but I do think the market will try to shake people out before that big move by this C leg to get you to leave the market and feel like an idiot, and then you'll be chasing it way up here. But I do think this is a rug pull. And could be done. Well, we do have all the swings in place, so technically it could be done, but I don't have the evidence yet to show that it's done. Want to see SPY 453 break, Qs break 360. That happens. The B's in, and then we just need to see how this thing goes. All right, guys, that's it.